5 wins on the bounce for Enzo Maresca's Chelsea. Welcome back to the Two Blues podcast. Another game, another win for Chelsea. This is an unfamiliar feeling for Chelsea fans right now. 4 seasons, 4 years of turbulent times for this club. We finally look like a team with teeth, with ability, with potential to go far, potential to do well. The team that we played tonight, I mean, people have been getting upset that we've been calling it a B team. A complete rotation of the 11 tonight, but still a solid team performance. Everybody knows their job. Everybody is hungry. Everybody is pushing. It is healthy competition. Everybody in that team wants to do well, perform, and get that next step up, that next level up to the first team. You know, you can see it in the front four. You can see that they want to get those goals, assists, those contributions to push them forward, to challenge Sancho and Madueke for those positions. But, you know, still a few issues to discuss. You know, at the end of the day, it's Gent. We're not going to get too ahead of ourselves. Sixth, I think they finished last year in the Belgian league. You know, it's the Europa Conference League. This is a competition we were expecting. Everybody, I think, as Chelsea fans, were expecting us to win this competition. Nothing else will be acceptable but a trophy at the end of the day. But 4-2 to Gent, you know, positive scoring 4 again. You know, we look free-flowing. The goals that we're scoring are good. The link-up play, some of the relationships that we're building down that left side look fantastic with Renato Veiga and Mudryk. Really, really building. But still, defensively, you know, we look sound for 80-90% of the game, but I've got to say, I've got to call out Badiashile today. I think Tosin looks like he's really stepped up. Tosin looks like he's really growing into this Chelsea team, but Benoit Badiashile, poor today. Poor in possession, poor out of possession, poor defensively. I mean, spatial awareness, everything about his defensive performance today was pretty poor. I thought Disasi was better on the right side than he has been in recent weeks. You know, still not a refined right back. I'd still rather have Malo Gusto playing in there, or maybe even Achimpong playing in there. But Disasi did all right for me. I like him as captain. And like I said, Tosin, I think Tosin Adarabioyo is really stepping up. I think I was not convinced when he first came in. I think he very much looked like a free signing from Fulham. You know, when we got him, it was very much there's no negatives to this. There's no drawbacks. There's no real risk to this transfer. He's going to be on a fairly, you know, reasonable wage. It's a free transfer. No real cost incurred. His experience, Premier League experience. He knows what it takes. Come up through the Man City Academy. So we know he's a good footballer. We know he's in this Chelsea squad, he's going to be a leader. He's going to be one of the more experienced players they can lean on for advice, for, you know, support, and much akin to Thiago Silva, you know, that role model in the squad to help nurture the young players and help teach them, you know, help them walk the tightrope of the Premier League and the modern game. But I think in terms of on the pitch, he's really stepping up. His performances in the last few weeks have been far better, far more assured. I think on the ball, he looks fantastic. I think he looks very, very calm. I think he looks like very much like Thiago Silva did last season. I don't want to compare them because Thiago Silva is obviously, you know, world-class, leagues above any centre-back that is on the books at Chelsea at the moment. But Tosin Adarabioyo is kind of stepping into those boots slowly but surely. His performances are growing. I think off the pitch, he has a great influence as well. And yeah, man, if he can, I think he's probably one of the players that's pushing to move into that first team. I think Levi Colwell's pretty assured on that left side, but, you know, Tosin, Wes Fofana, while I still have hope for Wes Fofana, I still rate him. I still think he's a good player. And I still want them to build that relationship between Fofana and Colwell, because I think if they do both, you know, succeed and fulfill their individual potential, you know, the partnership that they could have could be fantastic. You know, they're both fairly young players. They have a long career, both have long careers ahead of them. And if they both live up to the hype that we've given them and the glimpses of talent that we've seen so far, I think they could be a fantastic partnership. But for now, you know, Tosin gives Enzo Maresca a conversation, gives him a little bit of a think piece, a little bit of a headache in terms of that centre-back selection, because Wes Fofana hasn't been superb this season. He's been, again, growing slowly but surely, game by game. But I think out of the two, yeah, like I said, Levi Colwill, I think has been far better in terms of centre backs. If you're going to drop one, or if you're going to have a conversation about rotating one with Tosin into that first team, I think it's got to be Fofana. And yeah, I mean, maybe give him a couple more games. I don't want to, push things too soon in the season. And like we said, 5 games on the bounce now, 5 wins on the bounce for this Chelsea side. We're in good form. And if we win this game against Nottingham Forest going into the international break, we've got a very, very tough run of games after. I think Liverpool's the first game, then we've got Newcastle, might have Man United, Newcastle again. We got a run of 6 or 7 games. There might be a couple of easier games in there, but there's going to be a very difficult run of games in 2 weeks' time. So I think if we can go into this international break on a high, get the win against Nottingham Forest at the weekend, we're in a good position. Panathinaikos next game. I know it's away in the Conference League, but no reason why we can't go out there and put out a similar performance, similar statement in terms of goals scored. We just need to tighten up at the back. And it is, like I said, 80-90% of the game is solid, is sound. But then it's just those small lapses in concentration, those small swings in momentum that we just allow to get to us. And I think that is mainly the immaturity. That's mainly the youth. That's mainly the inexperience in this team. If we had more players like Tosin who had dealt with it, and, probably more experience than Tosin, given, European experience is ideal in this situation. You throw a few more players in there, we've got a team that can be a little bit more professional, that can manage victories, that can see these wins out without going, without conceding, without having these momentum swings, without having the game becoming a basketball match at times, as it was today. For the vast majority, we had the full, we had control of the game for 35, 40 minutes of the first half, then all of a sudden it kind of switched. Second half, immediately, we're there. I say 34 minutes. It was actually it was after we scored, we kind of baked off. I thought we sort of started superbly tonight. Very, very sharp. The press was excellent. I thought we looked very, very good in terms of knocking the ball around. We looked like we got into our groove very soon. How often have we said in the last couple of seasons that this Chelsea side don't start at the first whistle? We start when we concede, or we start 20 minutes into the game when we've had a couple of shocks, and we do need the crowd to get us on our arse, or we do need a boot up the, you think about it, this Chelsea side has never really been one to, or I say never, not in recent years, been one to start quickly, to get out of the, to get out of the traps and go and, do a Brentford, go and score after 23 seconds. But we saw that in the first half. We, not the goal, we saw the fast start. And then we saw the rewards of it in the second half with the goal after 40 seconds for Pedro Neto. And that's, it was poor defending from Gent, but that's us taking initiative. It's not us being cautious and trying to keep the ball and pass the ball around at the back, taking 5-6 seconds, 5-6 touches at the back. That's playing with intent. We've got fast, attacking, dangerous players. Use them, utilize them. Great to see Pedro Neto on the score sheet tonight. Obviously, Mykhailo Mudryk with the assist for Renato Veiga's goal as well. These players are pushing and are giving Enzo Maresca a conversation to have. Madueke, I think, is probably the closest out of those players. Sancho's been putting it, 3 games, 3 assists. I think Sancho can hold his position down. Nicholas Jackson, I think he can hold his position down. And Kunku is by far, out of those 4 players, the closest to a conversation in terms of pushing through. But, on that right side, Madueke has, since he came into the goals, become a little bit more selfish, has, I think, dropped his game a little bit. And it's not unfair of me to say that. It's not harsh. I think the standard that we hold him to is the standard that we know he can achieve, and the standard that he has shown us in that Wolves game, in the Bournemouth game, in games in last season. We saw in bits Madueke, when he got a run in form, or when he got a run in the team, he performed. I've always said he's our best one-on-one dribbler. He's our most confident dribbler. He is the one that always wants to take on his man, always wants to go past, always wants to do always wants to beat his defender, always wants to create space, to create an opportunity. He's hungry for those goals and assists, but more recently it has just turned into goals. And you could argue that Pedro Neto, new signing in the summer, a lot of money spent on him, he could be giving Enzo Maresca a bit of a headache. There's room for a conversation there. Should Pedro Neto be starting against Nottingham Forest at the weekend? I think he won't. I think they will keep the same team until the international break, and Madueke will start. Obviously, he wasn't, didn't feature again tonight. But I think after the international break, it's definitely a conversation that we need to have, because this Chelsea team, don't get me wrong, we're loading, we're building, we're like I said, 5 wins on the bounce. We're putting together a very nice run of form, but it has been a fairly easy run of teams. And this is I would have expected even a poor Chelsea side. I would have expected us to get 3, maybe 4 wins out of this, but 5, 6 wins out of this run would be, would be chalk and cheese from what we've been seeing from Chelsea last season, 2 years ago. We weren't beating these teams, these Bournemouth, West Hams, these bogey teams. We weren't able to go to the London Stadium and slap West Ham 3-0. We weren't able to pull a win out the bag against Bournemouth. These Chelsea teams of recent years haven't had the mettle, and even with the inexperience and youth that I've been kind of discussing, that we does come back to bite us sometimes. I think we do have enough going forward to get it over the line. But when we do come up against the bigger teams, it's going to be finer margins. We're not going to see these 6-3s all the time. Very, very rarely you're going to get a 6-3 against a team like Manchester City. I know obviously last year was 4-4, fairly close, but 6-3 against Wolves, the type of game that is, you're not really going to get that against Man City, particularly with the squad that we have now. I think big teams will find us out. We play great attacking football, but at the back we are still not tight enough. And I think a player like Erling Haaland finds us out. I think players like, well, that's the only player in the league that finds us out, really, to be honest. I think we can beat every other team in the league. But when we do come up against the Man Cities, we're not, Benoit Badiashile is not going to be able to perform against a big 6 side, like he did tonight. And Benoit Badiashile, listen, he's a player that I've had love for. And I think when he joined and when he first started playing in the team, I thought he was fantastic. I thought Rolls Royce on the ball, off the ball, he looked quick, he looked sharp, he looked like he knew what he was doing. Positioning was fantastic. Communication with other centre-backs was great. Whenever he was paired with, whether it was Thiago Silva, Disasi, whoever he played with, he looked fantastic. I wanted for a long period him and Levi Colwill to be our first choice starting centre-back pairing. I don't care that they're both left-footed. I think they both had the ability to play and to do the role more than enough. Either of them could fill that role at right centre-back. But Benoit Badiashile, the fall-off has been nuts. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's going on, because we've seen that there's a player there. I know there's a player there. He passed the eye test. He did it on multiple occasions. He's done it in big games against big opposition. But this season, ever since he came back from that injury, he's been a different player. But this season, he's been, every time I've seen him, he's been very, very shaky. I talk about players not filling me with confidence. I talk about Robert Sanchez, as a player that I wouldn't be comfortable playing in front of. Right now, I wouldn't be comfortable playing with Benoit Badiashile. Listen, I hope he comes good. I hope he turns it around. I still think there is a player there, but yeah, I do not want to see Benoit Badiashile. We have enough depth to be a little bit more brutal. We didn't make a sub until 74 minutes today. And that was, well, even might have been after that. And they were attacking subs. I thought Benoit Badiashile could have been pulled off today. I can't lie. And it's very rare that you see a defender pulled off for performance reasons. But yeah, Benoit Badiashile definitely, what the fuck is going on here? Benoit Badiashile definitely could have been taken off today. But contrast to that, Renato Veiga, a player that I had multiple conversations with my dad about, because he thought he was shit, and I fell in love with him instantly after that tackle at Inter Milan and the derby. But I think he's a superb player. I think he's a great utilitarian player, as my co-host Mr. C Money likes to say. He's got the ability to fill different roles. He plays the inverted role really well. We knew that he could play both fullback and centre mid, centre defensive mid, whatever you want to call. We knew he could play those roles when we bought him. We thought 14, 15 mil is going to be a good depth player. I don't think we expected him to have this impact. And I think it's kind of a similar situation to Malo Gusto, in that, look, it was fantastic. And, he's obviously an understudy to Mark Cucurella, the same way Malo Gusto is an understudy to Reece James. But Malo Gusto was called upon instantly, did the job well enough, and showed that he is able to play to a very similar, if not better role, a better standard than Reece James. Malo Gusto, I think, has massive, massive potential. And Renato Veiga, while I don't want to put him in the same category, because I don't think he's that sort of player that is there for nurturing and we're investing in for the future. He is, while he was a fairly cheap player, maybe that's because of his price tag. Maybe that's why we are looking at him like that. I think he has showed more than enough in his performances at Chelsea so far to show that he can be a part of this squad for years to come. And whether that's under Enzo Maresca, whether that's under a different manager, it will be interesting to see if and where he would fit in a team that didn't play an inverted fullback, because he's quite clearly capable of playing that role and both of those individual roles. But I don't know if he's good enough to oust anybody from a left back position or a centre midfielder. I'd suggest it's more likely a left back. But I mean, we've brought Caleb Wiley in as a future potential left back. He's obviously on loan at Strasbourg this year. I expect him to come into the squad next year and be the understudy to Marc Cucurella or whoever we have playing at left back then. But Renato Veiga is definitely an interesting one because, like Tosin, I think he's really stepped up. I think his performances, I think the relationship that he was building and he has been building with Mykhailo Mudryk, they demonstrated it mostly during the first half tonight, but at times tonight, that link-up play between Veiga and Mudryk was fantastic. It reminded me of Mudryk and Jackson in pre-season against Brighton under Pochettino last year. It was very easy. It was very same wavelength. It was like they were speaking the same language. And it's very rare with Mykhailo Mudryk that you can find that, to be completely honest, in this Chelsea squad. He's probably the player that I think stands out the most in terms of being outside of the realm of communication of everybody else. Everyone else kind of seems to know their roles, their jobs, what they're doing, and everybody else seems to be able to do the kind of 1-2 touch, tick-attack or whatever. Mykhailo Mudryk seems to struggle to do that and to link up with a lot of our other players when he's the one that kind of, I mean, he sticks out like a sore thumb, to be completely honest. But with Renato Veiga in there as that left back, I think that's 100% that's helping Mudryk. I think the overlapping runs, they're feeding him in, the 1-2s, they're obviously building a relationship. We're going to see that more in the Conference League, hopefully in the domestic cups as well. We got Newcastle in the next round of the Carabao Cup, which is, by no means an easy feat, but it's definitely a winnable game. We can go far in the domestic cups. We can do well in the FA Cup as well as the Carabao Cup and Conference League. Like I said, as Chelsea fans, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in the comments, let me know, nothing less than winning the Conference League will be acceptable for us as Chelsea fans. I don't want to say it's a Mickey Mouse competition. I don't want to belittle the competition, because at the end of the day, we've been without European football. We have European football now. I'm not going to sit here and complain. I want us to win the trophy. I want us to complete the set, be the first team in history to win every single trophy available known to man. But we've got to take it on the face. We've got to take it on, take it at face value, take it as it is. It's not a massive competition. The most difficult sides we're going to face are Fiorentina, Victoria, it's the Portuguese side, Rapid Vienna. There's not many teams in there that realistically should be able to compete with Chelsea. But look, we conceded 2 against Gent tonight, and if we want to go up against a better side from one of Europe's top leagues and play with the defensive holes that we play tonight, then yeah, man, it's going to be a bit longer for us. Jorgensen, though, I was happy about tonight. And I mean, how long is it? I talked about potentially making some changes. Just OMG, no way. No way Just OMG's in the cup, my guy. I talked about making some changes. Goalkeeper, I don't think he will, but goalkeeper is another one that I potentially would change. Robert Sanchez for Jorgensen after the international break for Liverpool. That's what I'm saying. Let's jump into the comments real quick. Guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Drop a like. Let them know in the comments, guys. Drop a like. Hit the like button, man. Ash, we're winning this tournament. We better win this tournament, man. Onto the ball. Good to see you back. Good to see you back live, man. I don't know when the last time you commented was, but it feels like a long time. But yeah, need to do an episode soon, man. Everyone get onto Trav. He's missing great content, man. He needs to do Bruno Fernandes episodes, another red card tonight, back-to-back red cards after Eric Ten Hag came out and backed him. I need some rants, man. I need gold. Everyone's sick of Goldbridge, bro. We need Trav to come out and be the new Goldbridge in a good way. But I appreciate the support, Scott. OMG, what do you mean at long last you don't miss a stream? You can't just miss us. You can't just pop out after 6 months and be like, oh, I've missed the last streams. Where you been, bro? How you been? More importantly, how's life? How are the charges? Are you stressed? How's that? Is the hairline being pushed back? I can feel, as a City fan, I'd be, I'd have sweaty palms from time to time. I might wake up in cold sweats time to time. But yeah, man, good to see you, man. How you been? Did you watch the game? Or did you watch the Porto Man United game? Which was a mad game. 3-3. And Samu Omora Dion. I know we're talking about the Chelsea game, but Samu Omora Dion with 2 goals tonight. The first one, brilliant little flicked header. And the second one, great finish. He looks instinctive. And the 2 strikers that we were linked with in the summer that were ridiculed by the Chelsea fan base, John Duran and Samu Omora Dion, both of them going on to do great things this season. And I never questioned I never questioned John Duran. I think ball striking ability is elite. He's up there with, he's a gem. He's a real diamond dozen. Samu Omora Dion was not a player I knew enough about to really comment on. But again, it was one of those where I thought if we're going to go out and get another striker in, we might as well get someone that's going to improve the team. I mean, Samuel Omora Dion might have improved the team. He's definitely humbled me, but yeah, I'm happy with our centre forward situation. I'm happy with Nico Jackson, but Samuel Omora Dion looks like a class player, and I hope he does well. I think that's 7 goals in 6 games for Porto this year now for Omora Dion. So fair play to him. I hope he succeeds, and yeah, maybe we'll see him at Chelsea in the future if they were tracking him seriously. But yeah, man, just goes to show, as the Chelsea fan base ridiculously reactionary, and these scouts, these Chelsea higher ups, do know what they're doing, do know what they're talking about when it comes to recruitment. The players that they're looking at, if they're young players, regardless of if they've got a track record or not, there's a reason that they've picked them out. There's a reason that they've highlighted them, and we are potentially interested or linked with them. So yeah, next time, the next Samu or Mora Dion that we are linked with, don't ridicule them, back them. Good to hear, man. Lost about 115 hair follicles. Yeah, man, you know what it is. Same old, same old. Mr. C Money's been missing for a while. Hopefully, we're gonna have a new weekly series for you. I got Loan Watch and Academy Watch. And Mr. C Money's going to be bringing you chopping it up with charms potentially. But we'll see. He gets off work tonight and he's supposed to send me an episode tonight. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how much of it is recycled content. But I want to get C Money back in the cut as much as possible. But I'm only going to comment on the games, or I'm only going to bring him on to comment on the games if he's watched the game. So if he hasn't watched the game, I'm not going to bring him on stream, because I'll be honest, I wouldn't watch someone talk about a stream that hasn't, or talk about a game that hasn't watched a game. So for now, Mr. C Money's on timeout, but he's going to be back very, very soon, hopefully. But yeah, all in all, very comfortable performance for Chelsea. I mean, there were moments that we were obviously, like I've been discussing, slipped up defensive holes that we didn't look the finished article, but we haven't all season. That's been the tale of our entire season. Even when we've gone out and scored 6 against Wolves, there were moments where we looked really, really poor at the back, miscommunication, whatever you want to call it. The defense just hasn't looked watertight, which is what the foundations of every successful Chelsea team, I go on about. You lot are probably sick of hearing me say, the foundations of every successful Chelsea team are built on a strong defense, a strong core. And Chelsea just haven't really got that. We've got the attacking fluidity. Fantastic. This fast transition, the pace of us going forward, the intelligence, the speed, the footwork, the football that we play, the counter-attacking, something I haven't seen from Chelsea for a long, long time. And it's brilliant and I love it. But it's got to be balanced, because, like I said, we get away with it against teams like Ghent. We're not going to get away with it against teams like Man City, and probably not going to get away with it further down the competition, because there are going to be teams that have had a little bit more European experience, albeit Conference League, Europa League, whatever it is. There are going to be teams that have played in European competitions and will be able to manage a game and be able to predict us a little bit more. And when we do go away, obviously it's going to be a little bit different as well. So we do have to bear that in mind. But I like the look of this Chelsea side. The fact that we are building, I mean, our depth, I've said it before, best in the league by a long stretch. But the fact that we are building this cup team, and this cup team is learning and playing and growing together. Players like Tosin, Renato Veiga really, really stepping up. Cassidy really, really stepping up. Dewsbury, who I don't think played fantastically. I think he had a really poor first half, but obviously got his goal in the second half. I think he was a little bit more influential. There was talk on the commentary of him breaking into the first team. None of that, man. No way he gets near Enzo Caicedo. No way he even gets near Lavia. But, that's another conversation for Enzo Maresca. That's another headache for Enzo Maresca to think about. at the moment, it's very, very positive and healthy competition in all areas of the pitch. You know, going forward, we have those 8 players playing for 4 positions. In the midfield, we're fully stacked. We've obviously got Lavia coming back from injury as well, which is a massive bonus. In the defense, we look solid. We've got quite a few centre backs who, although aren't up to speed, they're building their partnerships. They are growing. It will come with time. And we do have goalkeepers that are building on performances, winning performances, and can't really fault Jorgensen for very much, if anything, tonight. You know, I thought it was a fairly solid performance. His great claims in the box. I thought he had great authority over his box and the defense. I thought his distribution was fairly solid. Could have been a bit quicker at times, but I don't get that the heart in my mouth feeling with Jorgensen that I do with Robert Sanchez when we're knocking out about at the back. And sometimes in the first, I'll be honest, a couple of the times in the first half, we were playing some dangerous football, and I was a little bit worried. But I feel like that was a reflex from Sanchez. I'm a lot more comfortable with Jorgensen. I really, really like him. And he's one of the players I think could definitely be challenging for the first team and be pushing for the first team come the international break. You know, we'll see how Nottingham Forest goes. If players do redeem themselves, you know, it probably will buy them a couple more weeks. But, you know, no reason why we bought these goalkeepers and we bought these players in to challenge and to keep this healthy competition. No reason why, you know, if they don't surpass them, if they don't show that there are case studies, examples of them superseding their, you know, their alternate, you know, there's going to be no hope for these Chelsea players and they're going to get disillusioned. But, you know, we are here. We are building. The team is cooking. Individual players, you know, even players that aren't getting goal contributions. João Felix. I think João Felix is so good at football. He's so influential. The way he pulls the strings, I think he's a top player. I think anybody that didn't rate him before under Potter, bit of a lemon. I think anybody that didn't rate him before under, I think anybody that didn't want him back in the summer was a bit of a lemon. I think he's a quality player. I think he's one of those players that just goes under the radar, but ties everybody together. Even when he doesn't get the goals, the assists, he has the key passes. He has the link up play, the 1-2 touch. And, you know, his touch is always away from the defender. He's so intelligent. And to think he's, you know, people have written him off and said, you know, he's a flop. He's never going to reach the heights that he was. He's 24, man. He's got time on his side and he's going to grow with this Chelsea side. And as a player, I think in that front four, he's probably the player that's most comfortable and most aware that he was going to be a rotation, a depth option in this Chelsea side. But he just wanted somewhere that he was happy, flourishing and nurturing. And we can give that to him. And no doubt that João Felix can become a world-class player. He won what was the equivalent for the gold, what was it? The Ballon d'Or, the Golden Boy, whatever it is. I'm pretty sure he won that. You know, there have been some bad calls on that, but there have also been some fantastic players that have won that award. And I think he's still, people that are writing him off and saying that his career's done, all of that, yeah, bit of nonsense, to be honest, because he shows me week in, week out that he's got more than enough quality to start for the majority of Premier League sides. I think he's a fantastic, fantastic player. Oh, lemons here. Appreciate you joining the chat, Lemon. Sure, you had to pipe up as soon as Just AMG. Just AMG's been trying to avoid you for about 6 months, man. And he comes back and you're here all over him like a rash in 30 seconds. Appreciate you joining, both of you. Big up you two. And we need to do a longer stream in future when you lot can get more involved and stop bantering each other and, you know, stop taking a piss out of him, Lemon. Leave him alone. But yeah, appreciate everybody joining. Appreciate you, Vanny. Make sure to subscribe, like the video as well, drop a comment. We are live, man. Feel free to get involved. Feel free to chat to me. Let me know what your thoughts were. Who was your man of the match today? Who was my man of the match today? Probably Veiga. Probably Veiga. Neto was good, though. And I've been asking for a bit more from Neto as well. So, yeah. No, I'll be honest. Positive from Neto. I like that. And yeah, but few players that could push for this first team. Now I think about it, I mean, it's not a headache I'd like to have. Keeping all these Chelsea players happy, yeah, it's got to be a tough job. Yeah, appreciate you joining, Just AMG. I'm locking this stream off anyway, but yeah, everybody make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, follow at Two Blues Podcast on the Instagram and the TikTok. We will be back. When are we playing? We're playing on Sunday, Forest. So yeah, live match reaction on Sunday. I might drop a video tomorrow or Saturday. C Money might have a chopping it up with charms video to give you lot. over the next couple of days. But either way, make sure to lock in. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Appreciate everybody that that has tuned in and that supports the channel. We did a giveaway as well. We finally did the giveaway. Apologies that I've been delaying it for so long. I did do the giveaway for the Chelsea training shirt. It was announced on our Instagram yesterday. I posted it today, and they announced the pink kit, the pink training kit yesterday. And that is looking too nice not to give away. So next giveaway is going to be coming soon, but obviously it will only be for subscribers. And if you follow at Two Blues Podcast on the Instagram. So make sure to get all over the socials, subscribe to the channel as well if you're not already. Big up you lot. We out.